In today's video, I have to talk about a new PlayStation 4 free-to-play title that has been announced. It's a pretty big game, and it literally came out of nowhere. I was not expecting it, but it has really taken the gaming world by storm, and it's a brand new Titanfall game, but it might be a little bit different than what you were expecting. We've got details on that. Also, that PlayStation 5.pro domain that was redirecting users to the PlayStation's official website, that is not real, and that has been confirmed. It was making the rounds, but unfortunately, that is not pointing towards some sort of PlayStation 5 Pro. A lot of people were thinking that there were going to be two models of the PS5, and while that hasn't been completely ruled out, it's not like this is pointing to that scenario. Also, Final Fantasy XIV has a brand new expansion coming out later this year, but it's also getting a massive update with an awesome raid. Want to talk a little bit about that game because while I'm not super into Final Fantasy XIV myself right now, I absolutely love how Square Enix brought that game back from the depths of hell. And I'll be rounding out this video by taking a look at 3 brand new PlayStation 4 games, some smaller titles, but ones that I think you guys should be aware of. More on all of those towards the end of this video. First up, when I said a brand new Titanfall game was announced, maybe you got a little bit excited, but how about a Titanfall Hero Battle Royale game? The game is said to be called Apex Legends. It's coming from Rod Brasolu over on Twitter, and he's an esports consultant, insider, and competitive gaming leader. He specifically noted that Titanfall Hero Battle Royale will be announced on Monday, February 4th by Respawn, and Apex Legends will feature classes and heroes with unique abilities, a maximum of 60 players per server, a maximum of 3 players per team, so trios, to complement each other. No Titans, just as Titanfall and Titanfall 2. Apex Legends will run on a modified version of Valve's Source Engine. Microtransactions and loot boxes for cosmetic items and in-game content are said to be in Apex Legends, with a very similar approach to that in Overwatch. Alright, now the thing that really irks me from the get-go is the mention of no Titans. If there's no Titans in the game, how can you even take this game seriously as a Titanfall game? Now, it is dubbed Apex Legends. It's set in the same universe, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a part of the same series. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, man, the Battle Royale genre has just been done to death. However, I think this is a very good idea for a multitude of reasons. Not only is this a new free-to-play game that, hey, might resonate with some gamers. Titanfall is a game with some name value to it, but also, if it does blow up, this is a great way to promote Titanfall 2, and Titanfall 2 is a great game that regularly can be found for like $6, so just to use this game as not only a commercial tool to make money, but as a promotional tool to promote Titanfall 2 and maybe future Titanfall games, it could be a great idea if it has some longevity attached to it. Now, we don't know a lot of information about the game. We haven't seen any gameplay, but an official announcement should be coming Monday, February 4th, and based on what I see, we can go from there, but right now, just know it looks like an announcement is coming. I'm sure a lot of you guys are still skeptical, and rightfully so, but it is something to keep an eye on, and I will keep you guys updated. Moving on from that, a little piece of news that was making the rounds was the PlayStation 5.pro domain that was redirecting users to the PlayStation official website. A lot of people were thinking this was somehow related to the PlayStation 5. Maybe this meant that there would be 2 models of the PS5, much like how the PlayStation 4 had the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, although the Pro was released, what, 3 years after the initial release? I would personally love to see a base model of the PS5 and a souped up version that's a couple $100 more expensive that will offer more performance. Hey, if the option is there, why not? I love to have options in gaming, and that would be a great option to have. However, it does look like this PlayStation 5.pro domain was fake, so just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Moving on from that, Final Fantasy XIV is getting a brand new playable race in Vieira, and Square Enix hosted the opening keynote of the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest in Paris, and they went over a lot of things. Again, the aforementioned Vieira player race, but even more interestingly, I think what's awesome about what's coming to the game is a Nier Automata themed raid that's being done by Yoko Taro. That is awesome. I love cool crossovers in games. Sometimes we get weird crossovers, but this one makes a lot of sense. Nier Automata, another Square Enix property. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy, chances are you played Nier Automata, and that was a terrific game done by Platinum Games. Had some excellent music, and to see that music translate over to FF14, that is gonna be awesome to see. Do note that Final Fantasy XIV is also getting a major expansion later in the year on June 28th, and June 28th is the date that you'll be able to access it if you pre-order the expansion, and for everyone else, it'll be available on July 2nd. This is yet another expansion Square Enix is releasing for Final Fantasy XIV, dubbed Shadowbringers. It looks to be adding a lot more content to the game, and Final Fantasy XIV has an incredible story. If you guys have been following this game from its initial inception, you know how much of a train wreck it was initially. It was just an abysmal MMO, but games like this is why I never rule out a game. It's why I haven't ruled out Fallout 76 on making a comeback, because no game was in worse shape than Final Fantasy XIV, but Square Enix did a reboot of it, dubbed it Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, and look at the game now. It's one of the most popular MMOs on the market, receiving expansion after expansion, update after update, and remember, it's a pay-to-play MMO. Pay-to-play MMOs have been weaned out in recent years, pay-to-play games in general, where it requires a monthly subscription, but Final Fantasy XIV has been such an immersive experience where people have justified dropping money on the game, and rightfully so. Square Enix has done a great job with the game, and it'll get even more content with Shadowbringers, a Nier Automata themed raid, and a new playable race. A lot of great stuff coming to FF14 in the future. Some awesome trailers were also released for FF14, so make sure to give that a look if you are interested. And lastly, I do want to go over 3 new games coming to the PlayStation 4, games that will without a doubt go a little bit under the radar, but some interesting titles nonetheless. First of all, I want to give a shout to Jupiter and Mars. That game is launching in spring, and it's going to be a PlayStation 4 title with PSVR support. Here's the description of the game. Dive into the future, play as Jupiter and Mars, 2 dolphins on the adventure of a lifetime. Jupiter and Mars is an underwater adventure set in a future Earth in which everything science warned us about has come to pass. Sea levels have risen from melting ice caps and climate change, and as a result, the coastal cities are all but completely submerged. Since man's disappearance, the oceans have begun to reclaim themselves, with coral and nearly extinct creatures returning to their once thriving levels. But the artifacts of man's once formidable presence still remain, and an elite race of whales known as the Elders enlist Jupiter and Mars to help neutralize a global network of semi-functioning bases and machines that are disrupting sea life. Along the way, Jupiter and Mars will meet legendary creatures, perform incredible feats, and maybe even live to tell the tale. Jupiter and Mars is being developed in partnership with acclaimed ocean organization Sea Legacy and the Ocean Foundation, who are providing the game with exclusive content. There is a story trailer released for the game, a pretty interesting title, and again, with PSVR support, I think that could be a very interesting added layer for the game. It is launching sometime this spring. Also, we have a pretty cool 8-bit adventure game coming to the PS4 in what's said to be February or March, in Alwas Awakening. Now, this game was released on PC all the way back in February 2017. It followed up with a Switch release in September of 2018, and Alwas Awakening is described as a retro game with an authentic feel, a new challenging NES-inspired adventure game with the authentic feel and look of a Nintendo 8-bit game inspired by classics such as Battle of Olympus and Solstice. You use your magic staff, equip a magic staff that holds many mysterious powers, and use it to solve puzzles and defeat enemies in over 400 unique rooms. Upgrade your staff by finding new gems. You play as Zoe, who has been sent to help free the land of Alwa. With easy to understand controls, you'll jump and fight your way through the many different challenging rooms. A PlayStation 4 launch trailer has been released, and again, it's set to come sometime in the next 2 months. And lastly, I do want to give a shout to Crystal Crisis, which was a game initially set to release on April 23rd. It's now been pushed back until May 28th, but it is described as an all-star cast of heroes has gathered to test their mettle in Crystal Crisis, a cute and chaotic new color-matching combat game for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. Crystal Crisis is presented like a one-on-one fighting game, but instead of pressing buttons to kick and punch, players arrange falling gems into matching colors to clear them from the screen and inflict damage on their opponents. It's the ultimate puzzle battle throwdown. The game touts 19 unique and playable characters, and there's a teaser for the intro by Peter Cullen, who was the voice by Optimus Prime from Transformers, so that's pretty cool. Again, Crystal Crisis has been delayed until May 28th, so that's a little bit of a disappointment, but better late than never. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, it looks like a new game set in the Titanfall universe is coming in Apex Legends. No Titans in the game, however, and it's a Battle Royale game, so it's gonna be a little bit of a hard sell to a lot of you guys, I know that. The PlayStation 5.Pro domain is unfortunately fake. We're gonna get a lot of rumors about PS5. Some of it undoubtedly will have a lot of credence to it, some of it will be fake, and we'll try to break down what's real and what's not. FF14 is getting a lot of new content, and a new expansion is coming in July, June 28th for pre-orders, and 3 new PS4 games are coming soon: Jupiter and Mars, Alwas Awakening, and Crystal Crisis. Without a doubt, these games are gonna go a little bit under the radar, but I would keep an eye on them. And that's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.